You are now entering an unfiltered news and politics zone. With the Breeze Bullies, Jug, and Hefe the Don.
Oh boy.
We are back.
Yes, y'all.
Episode 4.
We here. Oh man.
It's a lot to talk about.
It's been
a long week.
I'm telling you, man, it's going fast out here. Shit.
We are the Breeze Bullies. This is Jug.
Hefe the Don.
And, like we say, we are the Breeze Bullies. We are here to pressure the perspective. And when we say that, it's going to be a little bit of a different perspective from your normal news cycle.
Indeed.
Right? So your news cycle is going to lean one way, mostly. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to bring another perspective.
That's right.
Check out the website, www.breezebullies.com.
Peep that.
And then you can basically see where all of the news and the alternate news is basically being lined up at. So it's a site that will have all of the news that you probably didn't hear about or see that didn't make the mainstream cycle.
Exactly. You're going to see some things that probably off the radar, below the radar, but it's there.
But it's there, so you can basically see, where we're kind of sourcing or getting most of our information from.
Indeed.
So
updated throughout the day.
Right, there you go. Mm-hmm. So definitely check back throughout the day to see what's going on.
Indeed.
So breaking news. Right, we just got the news as we start doing this podcast right now. It turns out that Lil Tucci just endorsed Donald J. Trump.
Lil Wayne just endorsed Donald J. Trump.
Now, for those of you that are easily influenced by entertainers and their endorsements,
I applaud.
It's kind of huge in a strange kind of way because, Ice Cube is kind of pseudo doing it. Mm-hmm. And then you got, at one point, Diddy was kind of doing it, but he kind of flip-flopped. Mm-hmm. Right. And then 50 Cent endorsed the president on the low, and then, well, not on the low, but, he's been...
Started to pedal a little bit, started to back pedal.
Yeah, he's been corralled back in by his...
Enamorada. His sweetheart.
Yeah, sweetheart. Gator, Chelsea Handler. She said she'd give him another round. So he said okay. He said I'll change my vote for that.
Well.
So easily persuaded.
I tell you. Oh man,
I digress. I don't even want to get into that. Like, I want to get into it, but I don't want to get into it alone. Because it's like,
But I applaud Lil Wayne. I applaud him for having the balls to come out with such a, because a lot of artists are scared. A lot of people are scared to come in and go all in and say, I'm voting for Trump. They're scared.
If you look at his tweet and what he was saying in his tweet, it was like basically it's between the prison reform and he's looking for that $500 billion.
Yeah, and the platinum plan.
Yeah, he wants the $500 billion. He wants to hold the president accountable for the $500 billion for the black community.
Exactly.
What else do you expect folks to do? This is what folks are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to hold the politician to the promise. Right. Exactly. And I think if more of us came and put the pressure on them and said, hey, we want that $500 billion, we want that 500,000 new jobs, new businesses, right? Mm-hmm. And those 3 million jobs, etc. Hold them to it. Right. That's what he's putting on the table. Hold them to it. Right. Is it reparations? No, it's not reparations. Not yet. Right.
These are Wayne's words verbatim from Twitter. Quote, just had a great meeting with real Donald Trump. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today and assured he will and can get it done.
You see that?
that's that's big.
That's big.
That's big. That's big. That tweet has been retweeted 147,000 times.
Yeah, that's real big.
That's real big.
Like you guys got to hold. You got to hold the president accountable
Indeed.
for offering the plan. And folks will say, well, he's a liar. He's a liar. He doesn't. He's not going to do it. He just lies.
And that's been the push pull dynamic, which is like, hey, if the other side is willing to work with you, don't work with him. He's the enemy, and don't work. Don't reach back. Don't reach your hand out. And that's been a problem between Trump and the left. They're saying, oh, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him at all. But hey, if he wants to talk to you about something that impacts your community in a positive way, why shouldn't you talk to him? That's what Ice Cube was saying. Why shouldn't you engage? Why shouldn't you engage in that discourse? It's going to help you.
Not to get off topic, but well, kind of in the same vein, because I was watching. Don't tell me why I was watching it, but it was David Letterman, and he had what's her name? He had Kim Kardashian on, and she was talking about the work that she was doing with the criminal justice reform, and he all but said that that she's a better person for working with the president than he is. Because he wouldn't have done it. And her position was, well, I'm helping people.
Exactly.
It's like I'm helping people get out of jail. Like I'm not going to let my personal feelings, get in the way of me doing the work.
Exactly.
And I think too many of us are letting our personal feelings get in the way of getting the work done. If he wants to get the work done, if he wants to get people out of jail, if he wants to give us money for black businesses and if he wants to give us school choice, let him do it, right?
Let him do it. Let him do it. You can't let the personal hatred or partisan disdain block meaningful progress,
right?
If they want to work together, then hey, find out what he has to say. I know that CNN, which is I hate to say it, is hyper partisan. I know Van Jones from CNN. They really got down on him for even mentioning that how positive the prison reform was.
It's because Van Jones was part of the Obama administration.
Yeah,
he was there. He knew that it couldn't get. He knew that they failed in getting it through. So now he gives Trump the credit of getting it done when Obama didn't get it done.
Exactly.
So that's part of the reason why they don't want those facts to be out there to say, well, he got it done and he didn't get it done.
Exactly.
And the fact of the matter is that if it's impacting the community and it's making the community, if it's going to help the black community, I can't understand the backlash. I can't understand what they're doing to Ice Cube. I just can't understand it. Yeah. But what I'm starting to realize more and more and more, and you and I talked about that media manipulation,
exactly,
is that for a huge part of the electorate, the media has people, they have your number.
Yeah.
They know exactly what to play. They know exactly what to show you. They know exactly what to let you see.
They know what's going to trigger you.
They know what's going to trigger people. And what happens is once you're triggered, that's it. Meaning we can't have a discussion. We're not able to basically persuade you with any facts. It's now it just gets down to the point where it's just how I feel, and I don't like what I hear. I don't like it. I don't like what I see. I don't like this. I don't like that. But, it's not being based off of true policy and true action.
Exactly.
It's just based off of, what we say we see or the things that we are, the narrative that's being sold to us. And a lot of us are falling for it. And it's really unfortunate. And
our position is not partisan. It's not partisan cheerleading. It's our position is, let's call a spade a spade.
Right.
If the administration is doing things that are positive for the community, then we have to recognize that. We can't let hatred get in the way of that.
It is what it is.
That's what it is. What it is.
It is what it is. If the other side was doing it, I would be rooting for the other side.
Exactly.
Like that's what it is. If the other side was willing to do it, then I would do it. But there's no reason for the other side to do it. And the reason why is because our vote is already built in.
Exactly.
Right? They don't need to do anything for the vote because you're going to vote for them anyway.
Exactly. So
they can say a whole bunch of things and nothing ever happens. Is because, you're already built into the electorate. If, we're voting for them upwards of 80%. So there's really no point for us to really offer you anything. Your vote is built in. Like we already got the black vote, so let's go court the other votes because we need those folks to put us over the finish line. The black vote gonna vote for us regardless. So I'm glad that people are really having that awakening and say, wait a second, we've been voting the same way and we're not really getting any progress. It's not changing. The wealth gap isn't changing. The education isn't getting better. If anything, it's getting worse.
Now some people, a good amount of people are seeing the light, but then you got some hardcore folks that are not seeing the light at all. I was out this morning, going out to have breakfast, and I was waiting, for a table, and there was a gentleman, probably had to be in his 70s, and he was talking about the election with his family members. This is a senior citizen, and he was talking to other family members, saying, Trump is a gangster. I don't like him. He's a gangster.
He is.
And,
he's a gangster. Like,
and it was just fascinating because
he is. He's a gangster.
He's a gangster. And what was fascinating about the conversation, what I overheard was like, it wasn't, I don't like Trump because of a policy, or because of an action. It was just I just don't like him because he's a gangster. It was very emotional. Wow. And it was nothing more than that, dude.
It's because we've been groomed into politics being a popularity contest.
Exactly.
That's what we've been groomed into. That's built into our psyche that, okay, the politician that we vote for has to be likable.
Exactly.
Right? That's the big thing. Okay, if they're not likable, then they don't have a chance of being elected.
And they have to be presidential, too. Whatever the fuck that means. So presidential.
So, it's something that he would say in an old interview, probably from the 80s, when they were asking him if he would run for president. And he said, you got some of the smartest people in the world that run these corporations, and they would never run for public office. Mm-hmm. Right? And he said it's a shame that why wouldn't smart people want to give public service? But it's because they know they can't win the popularity contest.
Exactly.
Right? So basically what you got is a bunch of dumb fucks, running the country, and then what happens is that then people want to ask why shit never changes.
It never changes.
Right?
The guard never changes.
The shit never changes. Like just for example, why wasn't there a stimulus package? Like, what happened to the stimulus package for these folks who need it for this COVID situation? Why wasn't it passed?
People got bamboozled. They got bamboozled. It was the dangling carrot we spoke about before. Oh, we're going to give you stimulus. We're going to give you stimulus. No, they're not giving you a stimulus before the election.
Nope.
And the reason why, it's strategic. It is strategic why they're not doing that before the election. Because, again, the hatred involved, which is, hey, we don't want to give Trump the appearance of a win going into the election. We don't want to give him an edge of any sort. We don't want a stimulus check with his name on it going to anybody right before this election. And that's pretty big what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, but what I find interesting is that people are suffering. People need the stimulus, right? You see how Wolf Blitzer got at her last time we talked about it.
Exactly.
People need the stimulus. People are starving, right? In some situations when it comes to
businesses are failing.
Businesses are failing. And, people are still going to vote in that direction, even though you can see them playing politics with your livelihood. And that, to me, is telling.
Yeah. It's telling, and it's downright dangerous. It's a dangerous gamble. Even right now, you have retailers, stores boarding up their doors and windows because they're preparing for what they call civil unrest. Based on based on what happens with the election.
Why should there be civil unrest?
Well, they've been throwing gasoline on fire. They're not giving a stimulus. Getting everybody really, really, really revved up. People are starving. Businesses are closing. So, and now it's like, hey, the election goes any particular way that one group doesn't want, and then all hell breaks loose.
But it's a crock of shit. Yeah. And when I say it's a crock of shit, right? For those who are listening, I'm sure our medium age listeners, it's not that young. Mm-hmm. Hey, Clinton came out of office. It was either Al Gore or George Bush. Mm-hmm. Al Gore lost. What happened? Nothing. John Kerry, right? We voted for John Kerry. John Kerry lost.
Good old
What
John
happened?
Kerry.
Nothing.
Right?
Like, why did there need to be civil discourse? There's a winning side and there's a losing side.
So why can't there be civil discourse?
Like, why do we have to have a situation where people have to go out now and burn everything to the ground because your side didn't quote unquote win? They said that when he was going to be voted in 2016, that we were going to be at war with North Korea.
Didn't happen.
We were going to be in the Middle East going crazy.
Didn't happen.
But now we're at 4 peace deals.
Indeed.
Probably the most peace that we've ever seen in the Middle East.
Ever.
This is the first president that's not engaged in any war.
Exactly. And we're not cheerleading. This is, let's look at the facts. A spade is a spade. It is what it is.
He's not engaged in any war in the first 4 years of his administration.
It's not happening.
Think about that. Right? Think about that. Think about if you're old enough to think about the Iran-Contra situation, right? The Kuwait situation, right? Then back to Iraq. And we've been in war, right? In Afghanistan, and then we've been at war for maybe the last 3, 4, 5 administrations.
Indeed.
Right? So the question really here is that I'm trying to understand is okay, if your side loses, and folks, it can go either way now. Because, that the way that the media got programmed right now, they're saying Biden is up by how much percent? What's the poll saying?
Let's see. It depends. Depends what kind of poll you're looking at. Let's see. If you're looking at the Rasmussen report, they're saying Biden is up by 1. It's 48 to Trump's 47. And if you're looking at the Hill, Biden's up 49 to Trump's 45. USA Today, Biden 52, Trump 44. You're seeing a variety.
44.
Yeah, Quinnipiac, Biden's up 45, Trump 42. You're seeing a lot of different things here.
Yeah, but a lot of it is bullshit like they did in 2016.
Yeah, you gotta take the polls with a grain of salt. And speaking of polls, there's a lot of polls coming out for the hotly contested Senate races.
Yeah.
And we want to take a look at that. Right now, Republicans hold the majority. Let's see, 53-45. Republican majority. You have 2 independents, allegedly, Bernie Sanders, and you have Angus King of Maine. They're allegedly independents.
Bernie's
allegedly. But, I mean, come on. Bernie, I mean, he's independent. That caucuses with the Democrat. Man, stop playing, man. Stop playing, man. It's about you independent.
It's a joke.
It's a joke, So that's what's happening there. So we got some hotly contested races happening. Right now, it's anyone's guess what happens with the House, which is controlled by Democrat majority right now. We don't know what's going to happen there. They're saying it might be a toss-up.
He needs to flip the House. If he wants to have an administration that makes any sense.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't flip the House and it remains the same, it's going to be
more investigations.
More investigations, more gridlock.
More gridlock.
And nothing's going to get done, or very little.
People are just going to continue to suffer.
Exactly.
Folks can't see that. Nothing is getting done since they flipped the House.
Exactly.
Nothing. There's no laws being passed.
That's happening.
Nothing's happening.
That's happening. And so you have certain polls that are saying that the Senate is a toss-up, allegedly. And they're saying it's 50-50. It might be true, it might be false. But just to look at some of the important Senate races that they're talking about, or the main ones to look out for. Alabama, we have Republican Tommy Tuberville. He's going against Democrat Doug Jones. The polls are leaning toward Tuberville. But again, it's a poll. And as we told you before, polls can be a little funny. They can be oversampled. They can be done a little funny. So you take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I think it goes. I think it goes red with the rest of the state. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be voted down.
Exactly. So they're leaning toward Republican Tommy Tuberville. Alabama is a red state. It's a red state. Doug Jones has been in there, but remember, Doug Jones beat out Roy Moore because Roy Moore had the sex scandal.
Yeah.
And then did he try to come back? And then they kind of they were like, nah, bro, go sit your ass down with the sex shit. Nah, they didn't want anything to do with that, so they kind of threw Roy Moore back to the wolves. I want to get back to the next race to look out for is Georgia. We got the incumbent David Perdue. He's facing off against John Ossoff. Young guy, new jack. He ran in 2017 in a special election against Karen Handel. And Karen Handel beat him 51.8% to 48.2%. The polls are leaning for the incumbent David Perdue to win, and I think I agree with that poll that Perdue is going to beat John Ossoff again.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. And you got other polls saying that it's a hot race. It's going to be a toss up. And I don't think it's going to be a toss up there. People don't realize that Atlanta is very blue, but the state is still
bloody red.
It's still blood red.
Yeah.
It's still blood red. That's just what it is. So people have to realize that. Also in Georgia, incumbent Kelly Loeffler versus she's Republican. She's going against a fellow Republican, Doug Collins, and Democrat Reverend Raphael Warnock is also running in this race. Now, Loeffler was appointed to serve out the rest of the term after Senator Johnny Isakson retired. So Kelly Loeffler was appointed in it, So we're going to see what happens there with Doug Collins. Because I think that vote might get split, possibly.
Yeah, there's a chance that the Reverend takes that.
Yeah, there's a chance Reverend takes that because that vote might split. The polls are leaning toward Warnock. We're going to see what happens there. Another race to keep your eye on is Maine. Susan Collins, Republican, versus Democrat Sarah Gideon.
Susan Collins loses.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. The polls are leaning toward Gideon. She's the state house speaker.
So they're going to lose that. They're going to lose that seat for the Senate.
They might lose that seat for the Senate. If you've been watching the news cycle, you might recall that people were pretty pissed off with Susan Collins. She voted for Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
Right.
People were mad as hell about that, but she voted against
the new Supreme Court.
The new Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. So people are pissed off with her on all sides. So
well, what she doesn't realize is that she was a dead goose anyway, right? So it didn't make sense for her to vote against the party line. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is about this is that the other side didn't even show up.
Indeed,
right? The other side didn't even show up to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you vote in that direction? Mm-hmm. Like they didn't even give her the respect to show up to vote in person,
exactly,
at all. So ultimately, folks want to play this, she's really, in my opinion, a rhino, Republican in name only.
Yeah, so she might be out of there,
and she's out of there, and she doesn't have any support from the president, so she can't win her race.
Also, Maine has what they call ranked choice voting, and they have the same system in San Francisco and a couple other cities. Ranked choice voting allows you to pick several candidates in order of who you like most to who you like least on your ballot.
Right.
It's not really a cut and dry system. People don't like it. Other folks are saying that, look, ranked choice voting allows marginal characters. Oh, I'm not characters. That it allows marginal candidates, to place in races in a manner which they would otherwise not have a chance to even win or compete in. So there are some people that despise their ranked choice voting, and it's making you pick candidates that are not even within the party you want.
And listen, if you're not familiar with it, I would tell everyone to go Google